Hello, and welcome back to this month's 10-Minute Toolbox brought to you by Lead. Before we get started today, I want you to think about the word stewardship. Think about what that word means in your faith life, in the life of your congregation. Think about what the word stewardship evokes when you begin to talk about it together as congregational leaders, when you begin to talk about it with members of the congregation. In fact, before we even get started today, I want you to pause this video and take a few moments, however long it takes for your group, and discuss what images or words come to mind when you think of stewardship. Great, welcome back. So now we've got a sense of what stewardship evokes for us. For most of our congregations, we begin talking about stewardship in the fall, around budget season, right? October, November. Maybe you even begin planning in August or September. I want you this summer to think not about the burden or the task of stewardship, not just another project for the church to undertake, a thing that has to be done to pay the bills, another administrative task, but instead, I want you this month to think about the hope of stewardship, the hope that comes as leaders and as a church and as a ministry out of stewardship. I want to share with you some thoughts on stewardship by Pastor Mike Ward. He's a partner at Gronland Sather Brunkow.
So one of the great things about being engaged in stewardship ministry is you get to be surprised a lot, and you see hope where many don't see hope, and you see opportunity and validation in places that you just don't expect it, which is, I think, just unbelievably fun. A campaign I led for a camp had a model where we went through congregations, inviting congregations to participate and give their members the opportunity to hear the story and make a gift. And there was this one congregation very remote from the rest of the congregations in the synod, and we never made it for a council visit, which was part of the process. We never made contact to get a leader to a training event, but one showed up. He just showed up. And that congregation never told us the dates of their campaign, they just ran one. Their average worship was 23 people. We didn't expect hardly anything. That little congregation of 23 people raised $15,000 for the campaign we were part of, and told us what a sense of renewal and purpose it gave them, and they adopted the camp ministry as the thing they were engaged in, and it gave that little congregation a purpose for the future and what it would be about. And I've seen that over and over again when that is what the church is, when we all do our part, and they had some very generous people within that congregation, and they made a difference, and they had a purpose. And I think every congregation, regardless of their size, can figure things in which they can be part of to make a difference for the kingdom. And too often I found out after the fact I've been denied the opportunity to make a gift to something I would want to, because somebody made a decision for me not to hear about a need. And I say to them, how dare you deny me the opportunity to hear a story? You know, I'm capable of making decisions on where I might put a gift, but give me the chance to make the gift rather than saying no on my behalf. That's not our position as ministry leaders, to deny the opportunity to make great stuff happen.
For you.
So that's something that's all too typical in our congregations and around boardrooms. Too often we assume scarcity when in fact the abundance is even at the table, if not in the congregation or the agency's constituency. And too often we deny people the opportunity to participate through their financial gift. And so what's so great about that is we take the scarcity opportunity off the table and begin as a group, as a board, council, to begin thinking in abundance instead of we don't have enough, we don't have enough, we don't have enough. Well, first of all, we need to remember that we have a God of abundance and not a God of scarcity. And too many of the things we do make people think that it's a scarcity world, and we don't have enough, and we're never going to have enough. People's generosity capacity is tremendous, and we have to show them a mission worthy of those gifts. I tell congregations often as I'm working with them, the reason you've never gotten $1 million gift is because you don't have $1 million mission. And the same happens on the $10,000 level. You know, you're not getting $10,000 gifts because your mission isn't $10,000. I've heard congregations say before, hey, good news everybody, we've held the budget flat this year, which in essence what they're saying is, hey everybody, guess what, God's not going to do anything new this year. And so why would you give more money to something that's not growing and thriving and doing anything good? We need to challenge people, we need to stretch them, and we need to do that with good solid ministry and mission, but we don't need to hold people back. We need to lead people forward to what they can rise to. Well, we know that the number one reason people don't give is because they're never asked. Now, if we just ask, then it's only about money. So the best way to do it, we say, would be to inform first. That's the who, the what, the where, and then motivate. That's the why. What's God going to do with the gift when I make it? What ministry impact is it going to have? And if we'll start talking in terms of outcomes, then people can be more generous than we can even imagine. People, I think, keep showing up to worship every Sunday hoping to hear what God's doing. And we need to tell them what God's doing, and people have the capacity to fully fund dreams bigger than we can even imagine. There's a whole lot to it. Certainly the mission and vision is critical. The celebrating the successes along the way is critical. We will respond to disaster and need only so often, but we'd rather be part of something that's thriving and growing and winning. The other thing we need to do is take a serious look, and we need to know the giving story of the congregation. Most congregations, it's top heavy in the giving. There's a few people that really get it. There's a couple people in the middle. I've found congregations are really weak in the middle giving levels, and then there's a whole lot pooling at the bottom. But then we need to talk in terms that people can understand. Too often I hear congregations talk about the $1 million budget. Well, nobody really cares about the $1 million budget. The first thing they hear when they hear $1 million or $600,000 or $300,000 is, I don't have that much money. And so I can't relate to that number. But if instead we talk about the increase needed and break it down to a weekly or a monthly basis where people can get it. I hear a lot of people tell me they can't make a $1,000 gift to a capital campaign. And I say, well, can you do $1 a day? And they say, well, I can do $1 a day. And I say, well, that's more than $1,000. So, but we need to break it down into something that relates to people. So we need to work on how we ask in a way that people can relate to it and feel that their gift matters. Because sometimes I think those smaller gift levels don't think their gift matters because it's not $1 million or it's not $300,000. So, but the gift matters to them. Don't shortchange the potential of your people to make a difference in the world and what they're looking for. I think people show up every Sunday looking for a place in which God is active and alive in the world, and we need to start telling them that. And then when their gifts make a difference, let's tell the stories of what ministry is enabled to happen by their gifts, so they can make that connection and they can recognize that they have enough. If we believe what Martin Luther said about the first article of the Creed, that everything we have comes from God, our ability to make our money, our ability to earn our money, and everything we have is God's, then we can give back more to make more ministry stories happen across the church and provide hope.